And we are live. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for finding some time this evening to join our live discussion. So please, as usual, introduce yourselves in the comments. Let us know what you do and join our conversation with your comments and questions. So welcome to IT Career in Australia live stream. So tonight's topic is how to transition your career into software development. So if you're new to my live stream, I'm Jana Martins, and I've recently entered IT industry myself. So I'm passionate about learning more and also share my new findings with you on this YouTube channel. So tonight, as I said, the topic is how to transition your career into software development. And Samaa is going to share her story and give her tips on, what skills you need to concentrate on to succeed in software engineering career. So incredibly relevant topic for those who thinking, to enter software engineering world. So please make sure to tag and share this video with your colleagues and friends who need to hear this. So before I'll pass it on to Samaa to introduce herself, just want to quickly remind you, that we're going live on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. So if you want to watch replays, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, IT Career in Australia. So I'm going live there every Wednesday, 5:30 p.m. Melbourne time, with various experts from my network. And we're talking about all the things around IT career, job search, and specifics of IT industry in Australia. So you can also join my meetup group to make sure you get notifications about upcoming discussions. And we try to answer all your questions from all the platform as long as you're staying on the topic. So please make sure ask as many questions as you want. And also the most active participants will receive a nice surprise at the end of the stream. So also, I do encourage you use this live stream, not only the opportunity to learn new information, but also network with the people in the industry. So we have few people saying hello. Hi, I'm Adam, currently an operations manager, self-learning JavaScript. Perfect. Welcome, Adam. I'm sure you will benefit from tonight's topic. Smail is here as well. Hello, Smail. Great to see you. So, guys, it would be great if you say hello, because it's always nice to know that, someone's here and we're just not talking with the crickets, So, and that's enough of me. I'm just passing it to Samaa to introduce herself, please.
Hello, hi, I'm Samaa. I'm a recent career changer, so I did not have a background in IT, in software development, in computer science, whatever you want to call it. And I did a boot camp and I learned how to code. I'm still learning how to code. And yeah, I'm here to talk about that journey.
Perfect, and I'm sure there's quite a few people, who can relate, and maybe, in someone's back of mind, maybe I should, change the career to software development. Jason saying hi as well. Thank you, Jason. So as usual, I guess, Samaa, let's just start with like a little bit about with your story, a little bit about you, and how did you get where you are?
Yeah, so I guess how far back? Do you want me to just? Sorry.
Just give us all you got there. So I think we have a bit of a timeline here. Here we
go. Perfect. Yeah, let's do that. So I put down 2013. That's when I finished my law degree. I got a master's in law, and then I was like, cool. What am I going to do with my life? Because I know I'm not going to be a lawyer. There's nothing wrong with being a lawyer, but you're very much restricted to practicing in your jurisdiction. Often that's just the country or the state that you're qualified to work in. And I was like, wow, that's probably not what I want to do, because it means staying in that one place for the rest of my life. And that sounds scary to me. So I had no idea what I was going to do when I finished. I applied to so many jobs. I applied to every law firm in the Netherlands, which is where I lived at the time, which is where I had studied, and I got a rejection from every single one of them, with the exception of the ones that never even responded. So then I was like, okay, maybe I need to think about what I actually want. And during my master's, I had met a lot of people who had worked in the tech industry, who worked in startups. Prior to that, I didn't even know what startups were. I really knew little about the tech industry. And I was like, let me Google these startups. That sounds like a cool place. You get to wear what you want to wear, and you get to sit on a beanbag. And that's how I got sort of my first role as an intern at a very small startup in Rotterdam, Linguistadores. It doesn't exist anymore, but it was really cool. And that was sort of my very first glimpse into the world of IT, even though I was not in a technical role. I was like, wow, okay, this is the world I want to be in. I don't know what role yet, but I need to be in IT. And that's how it kind of started. You'll see on the slide, like I had various different roles. I think I put down 2013 through 16. My first proper job after my internship was in customer support. And from there, I transitioned into project management. This was project management of crowdsourced user experience tests. So looking at the usability of websites and apps and how it can be improved. And from there, I thought, this is kind of cool, but I'm just working on, a project for a client, and then I give them some feedback, and I hope that they implement it, but I'm not sure if they will. And that's when I looked for a UX research role, sort of in-house at a company. And and that's so 2016 through 19. So the UX research, I worked at a startup in Munich called Clicks. That built a search engine and packaged it in the browser. The browser doesn't exist as such anymore, but the core search engine component still lives on in the Brave search. So if you're familiar with the Brave browser. And I did that for quite a while until I moved to Australia. And that's when I made the switch into software development.
And do you know at what kind of stage you decide, I don't know, that's it, I want to be software development? So was it any a conscious decision that at some point you decide okay, that will be my future career? Or is kind of just the flow, it just floated there?
A bit of both. So when I joined Clicks, which is where I was working as a UX researcher, that was the first time when I was in an environment where I was almost entirely surrounded by engineers or people who were coding, as I just called it. And I was one of the few people in our stand-up every day that did something completely different. I talked to humans, and I was like, what is all this stuff they're talking about? It sounds interesting, it sounds cool, but I don't know what's going on. And, to me, I'm like, the stuff they're doing on their screens, it's like those hackers in the movies. It looks cool. I didn't know what was going on, but I just thought it looked cool. And so back then I did a little course. It was called Cook and Code in Munich. I think they're still around, where you could make a meal, bring that, share it, and then they would teach you, you would all eat together, and they would teach you how to cook, build a little website with HTML and CSS. That was probably the first proper thing I did. I built a little HTML, CSS website, and I was like, this is cool. Can I do more? And at work, there was a designer who would sometimes give me prototypes that were in HTML and CSS, and I could go in and change a picture. And I was like, oh, look at that. I went into the code and I clicked something to change the picture. And it was just, if a real developer is watching this and like boring, but for someone who's learning, that was very exciting. And that's when I thought, man, it would be so cool if I could do more of this. But my role was UX researcher, and there was a limited amount of time, right, that you can spend doing other things. So it was then when I had looked at a boot camp, but my manager at the time said, look, if you're going to do a boot camp and then not utilize anything that you've learned, you're going to forget. So unless you want to actually become a developer, it's probably not that useful. I was like, well, I can't become a developer. I'm not that smart, right? So forget about it.
But so that was actually your first thought when you thought about software development. So the limiting belief was there, yeah?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I was like, yeah. I mean, I could maybe do something little, like build a static website, but I don't know about all the other stuff. I don't think I can professionally do that, you know?
Yep.
It's like I can go and sing karaoke, but I don't think I'm going to be an actual singer that gets paid. So yeah, there were like little points in my career where I thought about it, and I think that last job I had in Germany, where I was really like surrounded by a lot of people who were engineers and were doing a lot of that cool stuff. I was like, wow, this looks really cool. And what really sort of triggered it is the shift to like moving to Australia. And I don't know if you want me to like say more in detail about that, or
Yeah, of course.
yeah. Okay. So basically, what happened is my partner got a job offer in Australia, and I was like, all right, let's do it, let's move there. And I had no clue what the job market was going to be like here. I don't know if I could even get a job. So I was just kind of doing research online. And while I was doing research online, I stumbled on this blog post that was talking about sort of graduate programs run by tech companies for people who want to transition into tech. And one of those was a program by MYOB called Develop Her. Now, this program is specifically designed for women who have no background in software development and want to break into that field. I was like, ooh, like, I mean, this sounds almost like a little less risky. Like there's an actual program, and surely if I fail, then it'll be okay. So I applied, and I actually, when I applied, I was traveling. I was sort of on the road. I was at a hostel in Laos, and I remember asking like the people in my dorm room, like, "Hey, could I have the room for like an hour? I need to record a video." And everyone looked at me funny. And I grabbed a chair and I grabbed a bunch of pillows to prop up my laptop so you're not getting like that weird angle, and just recording in a little dorm room. And I got an email at a while later, when I kind of not forgotten about it, but I was like, oh, they didn't get back to me. And then when they finally did, they said, yeah, so we need you to be in Richmond in like 3 days. And at this point, I'm in Thailand on an island somewhere, and I look at all the flight connections. I'm like, there's no way I can make it to Melbourne in time. So I'm like, can I do this remotely? And they're like, oh, no, you need to be in the office. So obviously this is pre-pandemic. The world has changed. So they were like, you know what, just try again next year, apply then. I was like, all right, well, I guess it's not meant to be. So I moved to Australia, and I'm here, and I found a job as a UX researcher again, and I did that. And then I was 3 months in, a little over 3 months into it, I think, I was let go with sort of no prior warning. And that was probably one of the toughest things in my life. One of, not maybe the toughest, but one of. So I'm in a new country where I know no one, where I've just found a job, and now I'm unemployed, making no money. I don't know where like my next paycheck is coming from. It was a stressful time. It was not, it's not good. But pretty much that same day, actually the day I was fired or let go or whatever they want to call it, fired. I'm gonna just say it. I saw this thing pop up on LinkedIn again, where it was like, hey, develop her program. Deadline is on Friday. And this is like Wednesday. I'm like, wait up. Because at this point, right, I'm already like sort of settled into my job. I'm not hating the UX thing. It's good, but I was always kind of interested in, could I maybe become a developer? So I'm like, okay, well, this is it. I'm gonna apply. And I'm going to get it. I'm going to have to get it, because the story can't be that I moved to Australia and I worked as a UX researcher and I got fired and I was unemployed and then I had to go back. That's sad. That's a sad story. No, it has to be better than that. So I applied and I got in to the program, Develop Her, and I'm here now. I don't know. That's it.
And also, guys, by the, I guess, coincidence, we talk about Develop Your program with Shane 2 weeks ago. She's actually the one who's running it in MIOB. So if you actually listening to us now and, wondering what's this, develop your program, I really recommend listen to this live stream 2 weeks ago that we did with Shan, and also contact her for some details, because the program is still actually running. So there is also a chance for you to apply. We have a few more people saying hi. Srini saying hi. Alan saying, yeah, my name is Alan. I'm currently working as a project engineer in the construction industry, but studying a Master of Computer Science and Monash. Welcome, Alan. So obviously it's quite relevant topic for you. So Gabor is saying, sorry, I have to drop off. We'll continue to listen later. That would be your what would you recommend to all the people, let's say in their 40s, to get into the industry?
Right, a question for me.
Yeah, it's a question for you.
Older people. Well, I mean, I'm in my 30s. I'm 32 now. I started when I was 30. I already thought I was an older person because I think the weird thing with software development is I feel like it's a lot more like, I don't know, being an actor or a singer, where some people have done this since they were like children, since they were in elementary school, and you don't really have that with things like, I studied law, right? I did not know anyone who did law when they were 10 years old, right? I know plenty of people who've been coding since they're 10 years old. So even coming in at 30 and going to some of these meetup events and listening to talks of like 18-year-olds who already are building like advanced machine learning AI stuff, I don't know, that just sounds amazing. I'm like, oh well, great, it's way too late for me. I'm never going to be able to do this. I should have started 20 years ago. So I guess I don't know from the perspective of a 40-year-old, but from the perspective of a 30-year-old, it also sounds very daunting, because it's not like a lot of those other jobs. Like I said, like, I don't know, lawyers or doctors. You don't have 10-year-olds that are surgeons and are operating on people. But there are 10-year-olds that are building apps. They're probably better than some of us older people. I guess the good thing
there was a bit of a doubt there, obviously.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it still happens a lot of times when I look at people who are like, 20 and they're at my level, and I'm like, oh crap, like, how is this going to work? I guess the good thing is you got to think, no matter, first of all, it's never too late to learn anything new until you're dead. Then it's too late. But while you're still alive, you can always learn new things. Then in the program that I was in the graduate program, we actually had people who were in their 50s and they're doing it, right? So it's always nice to just look at examples of other people who've done things later on in life. And I think it's sad we live in like a world where it's always like, here are the top 40 people under 40. I'm like, what about people who, I don't know, ran their first marathon when they're 90? Isn't that cool? Like,
I guess, yeah.
So I don't know. I guess look at people who've done things later on in life. No, it's never too late. And yeah, the other thing is there are a lot of transferable skills, right? So just because you are 40 and you haven't coded yet doesn't mean you're not bringing anything to the table. You're actually bringing a lot to the table. And specifically software development, I feel like, is very open to people who have various different backgrounds and change into that career. I don't know if that helps.
Yeah, 100%. And I think I have a favorite quote to relate to this. You never start from the beginning. You start from the experience. So no matter what sort of experience you had, you still have, as you said, you still have some sort of experience behind you. And it could be, that experience in the project management or customer support or UX research, like, it doesn't matter. It could be not related to IT industry, but we all know how many interchangeable, like intertransferable skills there from the, communication point of view and the, the negotiation point of view, time management point of view, supporting the dealing with customers, dealing with stakeholders, and so on and so on. So I think, like, we're coming back to this. It's never too late. It's about how much effort you're ready to put into it. So Jason saying it was a sign. Then we were talking about the LinkedIn reminder to pop up on your screen. Adam is asking, is there any generic name for the program, like Develop Her, if you want to Google them? So when you were doing like a research, did you find any other programs that pick your interest? Or what else was there? Adam, I'll try to find a link for you for Develop Her as well. But you probably can just Google MIOB Develop Her. So what other programs, did you find any other programs that you think was helpful?
So when I was doing my research, I found 2 at the time. This is a couple of years ago, and this was a blog post. I don't remember where the blog post was, and it was talking about the Envato, I think it was like Envato apprenticeship program. I might have gotten the name wrong, and then the MYOB developer program. These are the 2 that I found. But basically, quite a few tech companies, specifically in Melbourne, have graduate programs. Now at MYOB, which is the company I worked at until a week ago, they don't call it the graduate program, so that it has a bit more of I think the idea is to have a bit more of an inclusive name, because often people think graduate program means you have to come from a university, you have to have studied this. But nowadays, a lot of these programs will take in bootcamp graduates or people who are self-taught. So at MYOB, it was called the Future Makers Academy. But if you Google for things like apprenticeship programs, graduate programs, and maybe the name of the city you're interested in, as well as our like tech companies. That's what I did. I think I Googled apprenticeship software developer in Melbourne, and that's how I found it. If someone has a comprehensive list of all of them, though, I think that'd be cool.
I think that's a really good point. I actually didn't know it, that if it's called like graduate program, the people who actually hasn't finished university, they can still apply. So basically it's open for everyone. You don't have to actually finish the because I think that Adam was saying so that he's self-learning JavaScript. So even if he's self-learning, he still can apply for graduate program.
So it'll probably depend on the company. I can only sort of speak for MYOB because I haven't looked deeply into the other ones. But at MYOB, we definitely had people who were self-taught coming into the Future Makers Academy, which is their graduate program. And I know of one who was an accountant and then just sort of self-studied. I have a lot of respect for these people because I probably wouldn't have the discipline to sort of sit down every day. Like, no, I'm doing this on my own. But it's definitely possible, and there are people who've done it.
And now, I guess, once you've done that program, and so then in this particular case, MIOB help you to get the job there as well,
So the way it worked for me is I got into the developer program, which meant that my boot camp was paid for, as well as a salary. And that was the 6 months leading up to the then graduate program. I'm gonna just say graduate program in air quotes, so people know it's not. It's not just for people who've come from university. And so once I finished my boot camp, I immediately joined the next cohort of the graduate program, and I did that. And then once I finished that, I just joined as a associate developer, or another place it might be called a junior developer.
And so what was, I guess, the biggest challenge for you when you joined that program? So, what worked and what didn't work for you?
A lot didn't work. I really, 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 really struggled in my boot camp. A lot more so than when I actually joined the graduate program, if that makes sense. And I think one of the main reasons is, one, the boot camp. I don't want to go into too much detail, but I just don't think it was that particular boot camp was probably not a good fit for me. And the other thing is my struggle with classroom learning. This is something I've had to deal with all my life. And I feel like by now I should be quicker to realize like, this is just me not dealing well with classroom learning. But it's hard because you're in a setting where, there's like 20 something, let's say 20 other people, and you're constantly, you shouldn't, and they always tell you don't compare yourself to others, but it's very easy to do that and get discouraged. The pace at which, things occur is also quite hard because you're, just being fed new information all the time. There's often not enough time to process it or have enough one-on-one time with the teachers to ask the questions. Now, this again will depend very much on which boot camp you're in. And there are definitely ones where the student-to-teacher ratio is different. So, I think the main aspect, the big thing was like that sort of classroom style learning or that group learning where there's a lot of comparing yourself to others and trying to keep up with that speed of learning. Once I actually joined the graduate program, things got a lot better for me. So we had 2 dedicated mentors. We could go at our own pace. We could kind of decide for ourselves what we wanted to do. And that works a lot better for someone like me. So it all just depends on what your learning style is. And I think the sooner you figure out what your learning style is, the better that'll be when it comes to learning new things.
And in terms, I guess, I like how it's actually come up already in our conversation a few times, this comparing, comparing, with the 20 years old, so comparing with people who was coding from 10 years old and so on. And I guess that's just, usual human nature to do so. And that's probably, one of the lessons that everyone can learn, that's probably the last thing you want to do when you're trying to learn something.
Yeah.
Because it always will be someone better than you, like no matter what you're doing. And I guess it's no matter if it's an IT career or any other career. I think it's always good to keep in mind that it's no matter what, it will be always someone who does it better, or quicker, or or easier, or so on. And I think, coming to this realization, help you to progress and actually put your, set your own goals and not comparing yourself with, with other people around.
Yeah, definitely.
And we have a question from Alan. Samaa, now that you are working as a software developer, have you set yourself any goals for the future, like goals, roles, or picking up general skills?
So I actually just started a new job last week. So for now, I guess my sort of short-term goals are just understanding, what are the problems that my team is working on? What are the problems that the company is working on? I'm now at a company called Rome to Rio, which is a travel planning app software. You'll just have to check it out for yourself. And RomeToRio.com. And I guess for now, I'm very much focused on understanding not so much the product, because I use the product, I love the product, so I get that part, but what are the inner workings of it? How does the code work? And then long term, or maybe medium term, is right now, I pretty much just know C#, really. That's the one programming language I would say I know. And for now, I want to kind of continue focusing on that. But maybe in a couple of months' time, when I feel a bit more confident, I want to also make sure that I'm learning a bit more sort of front-end skills, because a lot of this has been focused on back-end, and they always talk about how you want to be T-shaped.
Yep.
So, I want to get a bit more exposure to things other than sort of back-end and C#, and that's sort of maybe the medium term. And then long term, I don't know yet. There are many things. Becoming an astronaut someday, but I don't know. I don't know how I'm gonna get there. No, I don't. No major life long skills plans.
Yeah. So, and I guess, yeah, any courses. So, yeah, Alan's asking, like, do you think like you would take any further courses?
I think with courses, I'm gonna just do them as like on an, what is it called, like needs basis. Like if I run into something and I'm like, oh, okay, I now need to learn more about APIs and how they work, then I would go and do that course. I found that if I just tell myself, this year I'm going to learn about XYZ, it doesn't really work for me. Everyone's a bit different, but I can only learn about things in that point in time when I need it, if that makes sense. So I don't have a list.
When you can apply it straight away.
Yeah, very much so. And so, like I said, because I've just, maybe that's because I've literally just started a new job a week ago. For now, it's more like understanding what goes on in my team and then maybe thinking, okay, well, what are the skills that I want to continue developing? I always just say for now, I'm focused on becoming a proper grown-up developer. So.
And what is a proper growing up developer means for you? How you define the proper developer in
I always like to think of my mentor, Sandy, who I had when I was at NYB. He was one of I had lots of great mentors, but Sandy's always like the example where I'm like, oh, that to me is a grown-up developer, as in you're in a position where you're very knowledgeable, yet humble. You're able to explain things to others. You're able to easily pick up new stuff and be like, yeah, I'm going to just go and learn this thing. Maybe have a bit more confidence. Yeah.
I like how a lot of those things, it's actually related more to like a soft skills rather than technical skills. A lot of
I guess when I think of like being knowledgeable, to me that is like a core, like just really knowing more about the development side of things. Yeah, and I think a lot of this stems from me not having that background in computer science, right? So a lot of these things I just have to kind of learn on the fly. I can't go like, oh yeah, I remember first semester we learned about database indexing. Like, no, I need to go now and read up about it.
So how do you feel in general? Obviously, there's the people who study, doing the university and masters, and people who like you just decide, to shift your career into software development. So what do you feel? How beneficial this, university education for the career growth? Or like if you would start again, if you start your, back to 16, I don't know, you're 16 years old, would you go and do a university degree on informational technology, or like you didn't regret that you haven't actually done the degree?
Yeah, I mean, I can't speak for others. I can only speak for myself. And people often ask me this because they're like, "Oh, if you could redo it," I'm like, I know the logical answer would be to say yes. At 18, I would have picked computer science, graduated, and then at 22 started earning money. And but no, the answer is no. I don't think I would have done anything differently, at least in terms of picking what I studied. Because if I wouldn't be here today. How do I put this? I don't always think that the most straightforward path is necessarily the best path for me. I need to make my own, like, I wouldn't call them mistakes. I need to have these experiences. Like, I needed to try out the things that I didn't want to do or only wanted to do for a limited period of time to figure out what it is that I wanted to do. And with every job I had, I kind of got one little step closer to software development in a way, like when I look back at it. So look, if you're 18 and you know exactly what you want to do and you go and you study that and it fulfills you, then that's awesome. But not everyone has had that path and not everyone needs to. And I think it just depends on what you value in life. And I'm one of those people, like, I want to try out everything. I want to go everywhere. I want to see everything. So yeah, it's okay. there are obviously days when I'm like, oh, why didn't I? Why didn't I think of this back then? Well, like I said earlier, like when I was in my early 20s, I had never even heard of the word startup. I didn't even know what that was. It was just not in my world. It didn't exist.
And I think it's that's exactly the point to like everyone who listening to us at the moment. We already talk about that it's never too late. You you don't need a degree as such. Like you just need to, if you want to achieve something, you can start right now. And and you can use your previous experience in different way to shift your career to to software engineering pretty much, like from tomorrow. And I think also, again, if we're comparing to like, I don't know, surgeon has to go to university, like there is no other way to get around it. Yeah. But so we see at the moment with like IT career, like a lot of people with the different backgrounds is welcome to transition, because you do need these various skills and domain knowledge as well. And you can have a different, like, not only software development positions, but there's a lot of different IT positions around that encourage people from different fields that help actually help, like your experience in a different field can help you to grow in a software career. So we have few guys. Make sure to ask some questions, especially those who transitioning right now, because obviously Samaa did it so recently. So fresh experience. So make sure to ask any questions if you kind of at this stage that you maybe not sure what to do. Just make sure to ask those questions. And Srino, I saw your comments about working as a DevOps engineer for Cognizant, looking for sponsorship opportunity to work in Australia. So we're a bit of the topic here, but yeah, you're more than welcome to send me a message on LinkedIn, a direct message on LinkedIn regarding this, because again, there is no quick answer for this question. There is not, there is some sponsorship opportunities coming up every now and again, but I can't point you out straight away in some direction. But feel free to send me a direct message on LinkedIn, unless someone knows any.
Not off the top of my head, but now that the borders are open again, there are plenty of companies I'm hiring. A lot of people I'm talking to are like, we'll hire worldwide. So I think it's a matter of just finding the jobs that are open to people from anywhere. Oftentimes it's larger companies who have the financial means of sponsoring. But yeah, just looking for, I guess, job ads and filtering out the ones where they say only permanent residents and citizens.
Yeah, yes, obviously for some position, unfortunately, that's a requirement, and there is no ways, I guess, around it. So Samaa, I guess let's try to summarize. Let's try to summarize, I guess, your story, and put like 3 top tips that you can give to someone who wanna move their career into software development. What would be your top 3 tips?
Top 3. Number 1,
yeah.
if you want to do it, you can do it. I definitely did not believe that. I was one of those people, even when I guess I can speak honestly now, even when I applied to the developer program and I had to sit there in an interview and kind of tell them, yes, I'm going to be a software developer. In the back of my mind, I was like, okay, well, this is a lie. I'm not really going to be a developer. Let's be honest. I'm going to do the course and I'm not going to be good enough to do this. And you'll figure it out soon enough. And like, not that I was actively trying to think that, but back there, I was like, yeah, but I can't really do it, but let's see how far I can go. Because for whatever reason, I thought, I don't know, people who can do this have some magical skill that I don't have. And that's simply not true. I mean, maybe there are some people that can never be developers. I don't know. I haven't met them yet. And I think it's just demystifying that, like, what is this? Especially if you're not, if you study computer science, if you know a lot about computers, if you tinkered around with them, maybe that doesn't seem that, special to you. But for someone like me who's like, what is going on the screen? It's not magic. I mean, you can learn it. And a lot of it is just problem solving, breaking down a bigger problem into small chunks, focusing at each little chunk at a time, and solving that little bit and then moving on to the next part. So if you already know how to think logically, if you're good at breaking down problems, you can probably learn everything else, right? So I don't know, I think just like, if it's something you want to do, you're like, I don't know if I can, you probably can. You most likely can. If I can do it, you can probably do it. And this is something that I still keep telling myself, because it's very much a roller coaster. It's like up and down and up and down. There are days where I'm like, yeah, I'm going to be great. I'm going to be able to do this. And then there are days like, I know nothing and I'm never going to succeed at this. And if you ever get to the stage where everything's just great, awesome. I haven't gotten there yet. So yeah, just actually believe that you can do it if you want to do it. There's no reason why you can't. The next thing, I guess, is if you can figure out your learning style, that's all. Like that's a very good thing you can do for yourself in general in life. So for me, for instance, I always kind of struggled with classroom learning and learning in the way that I was supposed to. For instance, when I think back of my time in school, and English is only like my fourth language, and I almost failed English in high school, and my teachers told my mom, like, you're going to need to get her tutors. She's never going to learn this. She's just not good at it. And look at me now, I can talk to you. And so what I realized is, like, I was just not good at reading textbooks that tell you these random sentences like, hello, my name is Welva, these are my hobbies. That's just not how I learned. I watched TV, and then I just regurgitated what they said, and eventually I managed to formulate my own sentences. It took a long time, though, to get there and realize, like, my teachers are wrong, not in what they're teaching, but how they're teaching it, and the fact that they think there's only one way to teach something. So if you can figure out how you best learn, you've already won. Like, and I think people, unfortunately, don't have the time usually to spend on that, to like figure out how they best learn. So if
people don't even think about it. Sometimes people just don't even think about it. They think like, okay, so everyone learning it this way.
Yeah.
I'm trying to learn it this way. I'm not getting it, so I can't get it. And some people might stop there. And like, I really like your example, because, again, it's not every approach fits all. And it's as simple as, our learning style could be more visual, could be more like some people like to hear, some people like to watch, some people like to do, and like everyone learning different ways. So for example, I consume information better and I listen to audiobook rather than reading the book. So like I'm more audio person, but some people can't even listen to audiobooks. It's they find a distraction that they can't concentrate, and they need to actually visually read the book. So it's kind of exactly what you're saying about figuring out what's approach the best for you, because everyone can learn everything at the end of the day, but you need to find your ways to do it. And yeah, really like your point. So so we have two tips, like do it, believe that you can do it, and figure out your learning style, and stick to it. And okay, and the third one.
It's probably not as easy to do, but if you can, find a mentor, a good mentor, a mentor who believes in you, who is patient, who can, help you with things, and who's doing it for the right reasons. Want to add, I've had amazing mentors. I have seen, heard of mentors who do things maybe not just for the right reasons, like, and I think that is something that's quite apparent. Like you'll know if someone's like there to like really support you. Obviously finding a mentor is not always easy, right? This depends on what your situation is. Are you already working, for instance, in a tech company where and where you could reach out to a developer and be like, hey, I want to actually get into software development. Would you want to mentor me? Would you, want to meet up with me and teach me some things or just point me in the right way? Or, do you have to go to a meetup group and meet someone there or meet someone online? Or do you actually have a structured program, like a graduate program that will just assign you someone? So it's something that's easier maybe said than done. But if you can get a mentor, get one early on, and that'll make all the difference. Honestly, everything I know now is because of the amazing mentors I've had, and they helped me tremendously. I wouldn't be here without them now. So
Perfect. And guys, like I've repeated it a lot of times, I guess, with the mentorship, it's a two-way street. A lot of mentors actually benefit from being a mentor as much as you benefit to having a mentor, because when you're a mentor, you structuring your knowledge as well, and you actually feel like you're boosting your self-esteem in a way as well, because you suddenly realize, oh my God, I know so much as well, and it helped me to structure my knowledge and pass it on. We have a few live streams actually about it. So if you go back to some of them, we were talking about it with Jochen before, the ways a mentor can boost your career potentials. And also he was talking about how you can potentially reach out to mentors. So definitely, I'm glad that you mentioned it as your third tip, because surrounding yourself with people who are on the same page, like make such a big difference and help you to progress for sure.
Yeah.
And we have one more question. Adam is asking, this might be more for self-taught, but how do you know when you are ready to start applying for jobs?
You're never ready. Never ready. Don't even apply. No, I always have this one, like, my resume is not good. I don't know all these things yet. The more time I spent like on YouTube watching these videos of like things I need to do to prepare for like a coding interview, the more I'm like, oh, I know nothing and I can't apply yet. So how do I answer this?
Give us your example. Obviously, you was in Miami for a while, like did the program, start working there. So when was that point for you? Then you decide, oh, maybe I'll have a look outside this organization.
So in my situation specifically, I saw a job ad from Rome to Rio, and I've been like a fan for a long time of Rome to Rio. And so when I saw that job ad pop up, I was like, ooh, like that would be cool because I'm really interested in the product. And so it was kind of like a long time dream. And I thought, okay, let me reach out to them. I reached out to them and they were like, oh, actually that's been filled already, that position, but we're going to hire again next year. And so basically on like, I think the 1st of January or maybe the 2nd, I messaged the recruiter again. I'm like, okay, so the new year has begun. Here's my CV. Can we talk? And that's how I got in. Now, I definitely thought my CV was not great. I could have spent another couple of days or hours, at least fixing it up. But I was like, no, I'm just gonna send it off. I'm just gonna do it. And this was the first time that I was actually gonna go through a proper process of coding or developer interview, because the first time when I applied, I obviously wasn't a developer, so the expectations were different. The expectations were like, oh, you should probably be able to think logically and solve problems, but we don't expect you to be able to write any code because we want to actually send you to a place to learn that. So the more I watched these videos, the more freaked out I got, and the more I realized, oh my God, I'm not ready. And if I want to do everything that these blog posts and these videos suggest, I'm going to probably have to spend a good 3 to 4 months preparing, and then I'm never going to be able to apply. So like, whatever, I'm going to just apply. And then if it doesn't work, then I'm going to go ahead and do the things that the internet says I should do. This was kind of my approach in uni as well. And I don't know if this is a good approach, but I would often just go sit the exam. And if I passed, I passed. And if I failed, then I'll do the minimum I needed to pass. Which is also what we do with software development, kind of with like writing tests first, right? And then they fail. And then they're like, what's the bare minimum of code we need to write to make it pass? Like, don't do more than you need to. And I guess this very much depends on what type of job you're applying to, right? I think people who are applying to some of the larger software companies, they spend hours or weeks or months doing the like sort of algorithmic challenges and trying to get really good in that. I'm not in that position, so I can't give advice on that. I'm in a position where I'm like a junior, and I got a junior role. I don't know if that answers your question though.
I think it's Sama. To be honest, like I like how humble you are on this live stream. But you definitely answer the question, and I think you also show that sometimes you just need to give it a go, and that's a simple answer. And you gave it a go, you gave it a go again, and you got it. And and you're there you wanted to be, and obviously you keep moving every year. And it seems like if you don't get something straight away, you don't give up and you give it another go. And that's what's happened with you. We've developed her program and you gave it another go. And then what's happened with you with this particular job, you didn't get it from beginning, but you didn't get discouraged and give it another go. And I think, that's just the great examples for everyone out there. Even maybe, you as humble as Samaa and you're thinking, maybe I'm not there yet. Maybe it's not the time to reply. Just the answer is just to apply.
Yeah, and if you can get feedback, right? Like if you apply somewhere and straight away they're like, nope. If you can get feedback from them, that's awesome. Oftentimes companies won't, but if they can. Obviously, if you have a friend or someone that can look over your CV and just tell you, like, man, you need to change some things. That's all of that is great, and I'm very guilty of that. I'm one of those people who would rather not do something than do it poorly, and so I often have to be told, no, just send this off, just do it. I'm like, no, but it's not good. But it's not good. My CV is crap. People are gonna laugh at this. But I try now. I try and just send it off and be like, whatever. If they reject me, then at least I know what I need to change next time.
Adam saying, thank you. It does help. Here we go.
Yay.
So guys, we already passed 50 minutes of our live stream. So I guess it's time to wrap up the thing. So if you have a last quick question, please pop it in the comments quickly. And I just want to also mention to you, obviously, that we're going, I'm going live every Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. So next Wednesday, 30th of March, we're going to talk with Jason. And we're going to talk about Scrum Master role, Scrum Master challenges and ways to overcome it. So if you're looking into career Scrum Master, definitely next Wednesday, it's something that you should attend. And the Wednesday after, we're going to speak with Gretchen and we're going to talk about the real benefits of diversity in the IT industry. It's time for the giveaway. So, those who are listening to me like every Wednesday, you know that the giveaway is our virtual coffee with our speaker. So, Samaa, who is gonna have a virtual coffee chat with you after this live stream? Who's our lucky winner?
Who is it? I don't know.
You need to pick, someone who asks the most questions, I guess. That's usually the choice.
Okay. Sorry, I did not get this. who asked a lot
Yeah,
of
you
questions.
see it as well.
The last one I see here is nothing here. Who's nothing here?
Yeah, it's Adam.
Adam. All
Adam,
right.
here we go. I like the name of your YouTube channel. Adam is like, oh, who's that? Nothing here. Okay. Adam, please connect with me on LinkedIn if you haven't done so, or if you're in my meetup group, just let me know how to reach out to you so I can connect you with Sama, or you can connect with Sama on LinkedIn so we can connect you guys and you can have a virtual coffee chat. I say it contains exactly what it says.
Nice.
Perfect. Great content. And guys, obviously, if you enjoying this stream, please give us a like if you learned something new today, if it helped you in your current situation. Please give us a like. Obviously, it encouraged me to bringing different guests on Wednesday live streams and discuss different topics. Of course, usual stuff. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Make sure you get notification about upcoming events. Join my meetup group. All of these, and don't forget to network between each other as well during this live streams or in the meetup group as well. And Sama, just to put you on the spot to finish this live stream, what is your favorite inspirational quote?
I don't think I have one. I can't think of anything.
It's
not an inspirational quote, but I'll give you this one.
yeah.
Which is something that my mom said to me when I was at my boot camp, and I had just built a static website, and I showed it to her, and I was like, but wait, like it's static, it doesn't do a lot, but it's just my first thing. And then my mom was like, stop, you know what your problem is? I was like, what? She's like, and it's not like your problem, but you don't remember the time when you learned how to walk because you were a baby. And now you just walk around all the time and you don't think about it. But you know how hard it was for you to walk? You like fell down for at least a straight year. You walked a couple of steps and you fell, and you got up again and you walked and you fell down on your butt and you cried. And I think it's just like a cute analogy for learning things later on in life, because now we're much more aware of the struggles we go through, where it's like as kids we have to learn all these things. We did not know how to even walk or chew our food properly. And it's not like an inspirational quote per se, but I think it's just like a nice thing to keep in mind. Like no one was born a software developer. No one like on day one came out like, let me write some code for you. Everyone had to learn it. Some people learned it earlier on in life. Some people might learn it later. And just think of those days when you had to learn how to walk, and that was a struggle.
It's a great example, Sam. And also, I think we take it for granted sometimes as well. Once you already learn something, once you're good at it, you just take it for granted. You don't value it as much. You think like, it's just a static website, like it's nothing. But actually, it's it's something that you created and something that took you some time to create, and you got there. So it's a great example. And guys, keep trying, keep learning. Don't take for granted your skills or yourself. And keep tuning in every Wednesday night at 5:30 on my YouTube channel. And Adam saying, thank you so much. I'll definitely be in touch. So perfect, Adam. Thank you. Thank you for joining us tonight and asking all the questions. Thank you, guys, again. Great to see everyone. And I'll see you next Wednesday.
Thank you. Bye.